Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We are live from Austin, Texas, like Gary Teague says. This is the long-running Jeff Davis Show, 19th year of broadcasting. I am the host, Jeff Davis. Before we get to our guest here tonight, I personally and publicly want to go on record that, first, as we talked about last week, the Texas State Legislature, I don't believe, should be deciding whether gambling casinos are allowed in Texas. That should be decided upon the free market. The same thing here in the film industry. The first segment here, we're going to be talking about the Texas film industry. And once again, I don't think the Texas State Legislature should be the one deciding what the film industry does here in Texas. There's plenty of talent. There's casting directors. There's agents. Once again, that should be based upon the free market. But since it's not that way, I want to go on record as saying that when the Texas State Legislature comes to Austin here in January, that they increase heavily the incentives for bringing films here to Texas. Now, this has become quite an issue because several film projects are going to New Mexico, the state of New Mexico, and Louisiana, because their incentive package by their state legislatures is much higher than Texas. Now, KXAN, the local NBC affiliate, did an excellent story on this. Louisiana's incentive package is right now about 25%. The state of New Mexico is 22%, and the state of Texas here is 5%. So consequently, Texas is losing a lot of film and entertainment projects to these other two states. Now, the film and entertainment industry is vital. It creates jobs. It brings money into the economy, opportunities for people, and so I want to go on record here tonight, when the Texas State Legislature comes to town in Austin, that they create legislation that will increase the incentive package for filmmakers to come to Texas. Now, to discuss this and the whole Texas film scene, we have, I think, two very capable guests here tonight. Mr. Gary Teague, who has worked in, over 60, 70 film projects, 35 episodes of Friday Night Lights, the NBC series. And we have Mr. Dan Eggleston, who has worked in over 100 film projects, and also is the moderator of the 6,000-plus member Austin Film Casting Yahoo group. So I'll just open it up, and Dan, first off, what's your position on the Texas Legislature coming into town?
Well, they definitely need to get their act together. I mean, Louisiana's become a major film center in the South because of their incentives.
Yes.
And New Mexico's gotten quite strong also. Same thing. One of our casting directors that was based here in Austin is now living in New Mexico, and I helped her by starting a New Mexico film casting so they could coordinate and get some of the people involved out there.
Okay, Dan, Gary, what's your take now on this?
Well, I firmly agree with you, Jeff. Texas needs to get with it and catch up with the incentive program that they have now. I think the new key word this year is change, and I really believe that Texas should have some change and increase incentives for the film industry here.
Yes.
There's no sense in playing second fiddle to anybody. Texas, like you said, directors, casting directors, talent is here, and it should be utilized to the utmost.
Yes, in fact, Gary and I went to Louisiana for a casting call, trying to get a project that was, haven't heard anything about it yet, but trying to get cast in a project that went to Louisiana.
Right.
And it could very well have been here in Texas.
Yeah, about a $40 million project.
Feature, yeah. So just think of all the revenue and income that. Now, the first thing I want to do is we have all three of us here have been cast in a short film called Land of No Return, and we've played it on this program, several times before. But I want to play it again tonight because Dan was cast as God. And Mr. Gary Teague was cast as Big Tex, and I was a cast member, a featured crowd member. So we have three of the cast members on set here tonight for Land of No Return. And when we get back from that, we're going to play, if we can do it, we're going to play some. Tell us about your Z musical.
Z is the first zombie musical. It's a feature film which we finished in 2006, and we had the Austin premiere at the Arbor Theater in June. And the San Antonio premiere was this last Tuesday, and we got great coverage. The NPR station San Antonio interviewed me. It's going to be on the website as soon as their webmaster gets together. There was a feature article in 210 SA, which Jeff is holding. And I'm going to be playing it in Houston at the Alamo Draft House probably in mid-September. And in Dallas, I'm thinking of October 30th, right before Halloween or right after the election.
Then you were the producer for it.
I was producer, and I'm also the philosopher, which is a zombie character written especially for me. And I was the music supervisor, and et cetera, et cetera. I had many hats.
So you've actually produced a feature film, is what
That's
you're
right.
saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's in this. I haven't seen this before, but what is it? 210.
210 SA. I think it's the equivalent of XL.
Yeah,
for weekly
for San
supplement
Antonio.
for the Express News.
Yeah, for San Antonio Express News, and it's on page 8, the write-up, which would be right here. And this is the write-up for the musical, the zombie musical Z, here in 210 SA, San Antonio Express News.
It's on their website also.
Dan is the producer and the actor and everything else.
210SA.com.
So you've actually produced the feature film.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. What do you think, Gary?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's really.
So let's go and run Land of No Return. That's about 3 minutes, and then we'll be back to talk a little bit about Z, and hopefully we can play some clips of that. And you can also start calling in, folks, if you'd like to talk. For the first segment here, we're going to talk about the Texas film scene, actors, directors, casting directors. Call in. Before we play Z, is there anything else you guys can think of that should be said here as far as enhancing the, other than the Texas State?
Well, we should mention TXMPA.
Excellent. Yes, TXM. Tell us about that.
It's a organization that was founded a couple years ago during the previous legislation, and it's one of the main reasons that they were able to pass the incentive package they did then. And Bob Hutchins, who's the Texas Film Commissioner, I heard him speak a couple times, and he said that other states have greater ones, but we've got to get started somewhere. And so the idea was, let's get a package passed in law, and then the next session we can build on that and increase the incentives. And they see, how effective it is.
Texas MPA. You heard of them, Gary?
I haven't.
Yeah,
it sounds great. I mean, I'm for it. Anything to.
I got an email from the president, and basically what it was asking for money. So.
Yeah, well,
but
that's what lobbyists need to get their packages passed.
But it is, it is.
And the president is from Dallas. They had a whole busload from Dallas, came down to Austin for the meeting a few weeks ago, and elected someone from Dallas as president, and so they feel very strong about it.
Well,
they should.
Well, like I say, I mean, when you look at the economic impact of the film and entertainment industry here in Texas, it's right now. I was told that Texas right now is the second highest market for movies right now. It overtook New York City, so it's second to L.A. But it could be a lot better than that if the incentive package and everything was improved. So
when it's improved.
Yeah, and so we're all on record here, folks, for saying that when Texas State Legislature comes to town here in January, that they increase their incentive package. And of course, it might not make that much difference to Gary, because I think he'll be going to Beverly Hills here before too long.
Thank you, Jeff. But
You're talking about going to Shreveport. I was in a film Monday called Polecats, and the woman playing my wife had to take a plane to Shreveport because she's in a film over there Wednesday morning.
Really? Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we get cast in that project that we went to Louisiana, but I could say it should be done right here,
Yep.
so we don't have to drive 350 miles or something.
yeah, it's just totally ridiculous to let things like that get away. Texas shouldn't allow that to happen.
That's right. Okay, so let's go ahead and run Land of No Return, and then we'll be back in about 3 minutes with our panel here, and we're discussing the Texas film scene, vital industry here in Texas, and so let's roll it. Land of No Return, directed by Derek McDaniel.
Come in here for a second.
Yeah, Dad, what is it?
The world's gotten out of hand, so I decided to blow it up tomorrow.
Oh, wait, blow it up? Isn't that a little harsh? I'm supposed to return to Earth, remember?
Return or schmurn. Besides, those people are so out of touch with reality.
Maybe you're the one who's out of touch, Dad.
Youth. So idealistic. So naive. Seems like only yesterday you were...
Dad, I'm like 2,000 years old.
All right. All right already. Go return to your people. But you have one chance, and that's it.
There's good in this world, Dad. You'll see. I'll show you.
We bring you a special news bulletin from KHA News.
Reports of Jesus sightings have been popping up all over the land. Son of God or imposter. We'll keep you up to date as this story develops.
Hey, Jesus, what's up, man?
Not much. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I've just been drinking a little bit, but hey, I'm not drunk. And I want to let you know, whenever I'm not in the bar, I'm in church. Every Sunday.
Today is Sunday.
Oh, hey, let me ask you this. Is smoking the tweet a sin?
If I said yes, would you stop?
Hey, look at the time. I gotta get going. I have a meeting with my gardener about some weed. I need to ask my gardener about some weeds in my garden. But hey, man, you keep it real. Have a good one.
Oh my God, you're Jesus.
That would be me.
What was the name of that book you wrote?
I never wrote a
What was the name
book.
of it? What's the name of it? Damn, is it the discotheque?
You mean the Bible?
Duh. Okay, so anyway, you know how you parted the Red Sea?
What?
Okay, so you parted the Red Sea. My father has red hair, and he parts it down the middle. How fucking cool is that?
JC, my main man. Oh, what's the shoes there, Jesus? That's imported albino crocodile from Burma.
Sorry.
Forget about it. My name's Andrew Copperdale. You can call me Big Tex.
Okay.
Look here, I've got an idea for a TV show that's going to make us filthy rich.
TV show.
Actually, it's a reality show. Okay? So somebody on stage brings up a certain predicament.
Check this out, man. I was at this party the other night, and this foreign-ass bitch was throwing her titties and her ass off in my face and shit, dude.
Crowd yells,
What was he do?
What would Jesus do? And then you shed some sort of light on the subject.
Jesus dogs, get your Jesus dogs. Can't go to heaven unless you get your Jesus dogs. Jesus, you want a wiener?
No, I do not want a wiener.
The National Atheist Conference is protesting against Jesus, saying that since they don't believe in God, then obviously there can't be a Jesus. The Black Militant Ministers Association is also here in protest, and they say, and I quote, "Jesus is not a cracker, he is a black man." And that's just some of the many organizations who are protesting against Jesus out here today. And in related news, Rob, the religious right is lobbying Congress to ban robes, facial hair, and flip-flops. I'm sorry, that's sandals inside strip clubs to prevent any further embarrassment from Jesus in the future. I'm Leslie Alvarez with KH News. Back to you, Rob.
Son.
Save it, Dad.
Okay, folks, we are back we have 3 of the cast members here on set from that short film you just watched, Land of No Return. And we're going to be playing, hopefully, a trailer for the musical Zombie Z.
Right.
Coming up here, which Dan produced. And we would like to take your calls. Now, we're going to about 10:30 tonight on just the Texas film scene. So if you got any questions, comments concerning the Texas film industry, right there's a number to call. Area code 512-477-2288. We have Mr. Dan Eggleston, worked in over 100 films, moderator of Awesome Film Casting Yahoo Group, and Mr. Gary Teague, about 70 films and 35 episodes of Friday Night Lights, a series.
And looks like she's done with the trailer.
She's okay. I guess we can...
whenever they're ready in the control room.
I guess, yeah. Well, I guess we can go.
It's 30 seconds.
30-second trailer we're ready to go. Okay, let's run the trailer for musical zombie movie Z, which
Z, a zombie musical.
Z, a zombie musical.
Right.
Okay, it's played San Antonio, here in Austin.
It played in Austin, played in San Antonio. It was at the OS International Film Festival in Norway. And it was at the Zombie Film Festival in Providence, Rhode Island.
Cool. Yeah, he's producing a feature film, Gary. That's something I'd like to do. What about you?
Yeah.
Gary and I have been talking about trying a little short film ourselves.
Oh, good.
Gary directed. I'll produce it. We just don't have the script. Do you have a script we can use?
Write your script.
That's the thing we're lacking. We've got the equipment. We can find the talent.
Oh, yeah.
Just don't have the story idea. So here we go. Are we ready?
Here, you may remember me from such stage and screen roles as who the hell am I kidding? You only remember me from my voice. I've won 4 Tonys, you know.
My head hurts!
Anyways, I'm here to address a significant problem facing the living undead. Not enough pictures are being made for them. They want to see their own kind on screen, telling real-life stories about the zombie experience. Oh, and they like musical numbers, so throw in some singing and dancing, too.
Sir. Hi, we're here at the Austin Omniplex 10. You just saw the Zombie musical. What did you think?
Hello, my name's Twan, and I thought it was just absolutely fabulous. The choreography was beautiful, the singing was amazing. The whole movie gets 3 ums up for me. It was awesome here. Yes, I recommend anybody go see it.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Please make more pictures for zombies. But they're gonna freaking eat me or something. Harvey Fierstein here. You may remember me from some stage and screen roles as... who the hell am I kidding? You only remember me from my voice. I've won 4 Tonys, you know.
My head hurts!
Ever since I got involved as an actor, I think it's a tremendously exciting industry to be involved in.
There was a funny story behind that particular trailer. Slither, the movie Slither, had an online contest which they said the best trailer would win, I think, $500 or $5,000 or something like that. And so we shot a trailer using that same set, the Galaxy Theater in the park down near 45th and Airport just south of there. And we shot a trailer saying this movie is so scary that 9 out of 10 zombies are scared. We have the zombies running out. And the shot inside the theater were people watching the Slither trailer. And while we're here, let's shoot one for Z. So
beautiful.
Yeah. And at the screening at the Alamo Draft House last Tuesday, one of the wait staff recognized me because they've been using that trailer to promote Z.
Yeah. Would you say my head hurts?
Yeah, my head hurts. Monty Python fans will recognize that.
Have you seen Land of No Return?
Oh yeah, of
You've
course.
seen it.
Yeah.
You've seen Big.
Well, I got a copy of it.
You've seen Big Tex.
Yes.
Big Tex.
Well, God has seen it.
Okay, folks, we'll go about another 5 minutes or so if you'd like to call in. Do we have anything else to run?
She's burning something right now, which may or may not be ready in time.
Okay, well, we'll play it
Yeah, and you can always play in the future program.
Okay, folks, 477-2288. We're live here 3 August, Sunday night, 3 August, 2008, and we'll try a call. We're on the set tonight with Mr. Gary Teague, actor extraordinaire, and Mr. Dan Eggleston, actor extraordinaire. Welcome. You're on live TV.
Hi, am I on?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I knew you were trying to load up a video and whatnot. I was just flipping through channels, and I had one little comment I'd like to make. Just I think that I was watching another program on Channel 16. They're talking about the economy and whatnot. Since we have a little bit of downtime, I just wanted everybody to go to either Infowars.com or go and research about Abraham Lincoln's greenbacks. And I think that this is our solution to our monetary problem that we have. That back during the Civil War, and Lincoln needed a way to pay for the war. And since he went to go to bankers and try to ask them for money for a loan, but they turned him down he decided to turn them down because they wanted 36% interest rate, or 36 or 24%. So anyway, he said, you know what, I'm not going to do that. So he ended up asking his friend, I think his name was Dick Taylor. He ended up asking him, what's my solution? What can I do? And he went ahead and he said, just make a law, have Congress pass a law to print constitutional money, basically backed by, it's fiat money, but it's backed by the Congress itself and the actual legal tender. Make it legal tender and make it only that the Congress can create the money. what we have now is a central banking system that is controlled by European banks, and these European banks have influence on our monetary system now. They can money supply. They can print unlimited amounts of money, unlimited amounts of paper money.
You're
that
talking about the
then
Federal Reserve
cannot
Bank.
be. Then it inflates prices. That's why everything is cost so much now. It's just that now what's going on is that since there's no accountability, nobody is accountable for. Nobody can seem to fit the puzzle together that it's this Federal Reserve System that is not even federal. It's a private bank that nobody can buy into. Only the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the Morgans and the Wahlbergs and everybody these tycoons that have owned this for now since 1913. They created depressions. They create recessions, depressions. They create everything that's what's going on. It's not a business cycle. It's their cycle. And what we need to do is look at Lincoln's experiment. That's why he got shot, because these bankers didn't want that idea, because it makes us debt free. It makes us not have to pay for any. That's what you pay income tax for. You pay interest.
Sir,
You're
do you
paying
have
those
access
bankers
to the
interest
internet?
on the dollar they print for you.
Hold on a minute, sir. Do you have access to Sir, do you have access to the internet?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Google Jeff Davis show, sir.
Sorry, I turned on my TV. I didn't know if I got cut off.
Do you have any comments about the Texas film scene?
You know what? I definitely love Texas film. I love Texas art. I love everything about Texas. I was born and raised here in South Austin. Now I live on the north side, but you know, a lot of things have changed even just in my short life. I'm only 21, and everything has changed since, you know, I can even think just from, 12 years ago, things were completely different from what they are now.
Well,
and
you realize
it's something that I definitely love about Texas is that it's passion for art and it's passion for ideas and for being independent, that kind of thing. I love that about Texas.
Well, sir,
and, I'm not sure. I didn't see y'all's show. I just kind of jumped in at one time, and I'm sorry about interrupting your Texas film scene show. I just felt compelled to call in somewhere and tell somebody something.
Well, sir, I've been talking about the
I'm kind of tired of it, man.
Almost 20 years.
I'm scared for the future. Really, that's what it is. I'm scared for the future.
Yeah. Hold on a minute, sir. Go ahead.
Jeff, I just want to say something about the Federal Reserve Bank. That's one of the biggest forces there are in the government, and the fact that, like you said, Carl, that it is a private enterprise, but yet it's called Federal Reserve, and it's simply a private enterprise, which should not be by the Constitution.
It's not federal, and there's no reserves except the pockets of the American taxpayer.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, sir, I wanted to mention to you, are you aware, since you love Texas arts and all that, that Texas is losing a lot of film and entertainment projects because of the Texas state legislature will not increase their incentive package?
I'm sorry, I can barely hear you.
Okay. What we were talking about at the top of the show, you said you like Texas independence and the arts. Are you aware that because of the Texas state legislature dragging its foot, Texas is losing a lot of film projects to New Mexico and Louisiana?
Well, I definitely bet that. I can bet on that. I haven't researched that myself, but I'm sure it's probably going on. But I think what's happening is that a lot of these interests of wrong. Well, really, I think the state has a lot of responsibility to fund, different projects that will help our economy, whether that's adding in, art here, film, or even making a school. And because, people need to be smart so they can actually make the films and actually have access to things and, share ideas, that sort of thing. And you also need the actual incentive for people to go and actually do the work. There has to be some kind of money into it. There has to be some kind of thing like that. But I think what happens is we stray away from that. I think maybe here in Texas too, because we're like the only oil state there is. I mean, nobody else drills other than like Louisiana and I think Alabama. And if you Florida, I'm not sure if they do or not, but I know we have like the biggest oil producing economy. So I think that I'm not saying that oil is bad. I'm just saying that I think we need oil, and I'm glad because we're the only ones helping out. But I think that other states, I think Texas is doing a lot. I think for our economy, and we're doing pretty well compared to other states. I mean,
well,
housing, everything is.
The point
is
though, it could be better.
Other places, it's still bad, but it's thanks to our energy policies of wind and like Boone Pickens and making his wind thing and solar energy. A lot of people are here in Austin, especially. You can tell. I mean, obviously we're like the safe haven, so to say. We've always been like that, as far as I know, or seen like that. As Texas, we're kind of different from everything else, around us.
Well, the thing is, sir, let me put you a hold of it. The thing is that it could be a lot better if the state legislature got off their butt and did what was the right thing.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thanks for calling in. Let's try this. Welcome. You're on live TV.
Yeah, I'd like to know, before we give these incentive packages away to the film industry in Texas, I'd like to know the numbers and whether or not that's advantageous to the economy. Do you know those numbers?
Anybody got any?
They bring more textiles. They do pay off.
Well,
I don't have specific numbers.
Obviously, sir, the more film projects that are in Texas, the people have to eat, they have to lodge. Gary, what do you think?
Well, I don't have the exact numbers either, but I do know that if you bring business into anywhere, it's always good. It's a good thing for everybody.
Well, yeah, but I guess that would depend on these incentive packages. I mean, if you're giving something away, you got to be getting a return on your the freebies you're giving away.
Yeah, I understand, sir. I understand, but well, the thing is, it must be advantageous, or New Mexico and Louisiana wouldn't have increased their incentive packages to 20-some%.
Well, then Texas, why do you think you're claiming that the legislature's dragging their feet on this? Why do you think that's happening?
I don't know why that's happening. Why do you think it's happening?
Well, you had mentioned they're dragging their feet, so I was wondering if you thought that maybe they were thinking it wasn't as advantageous, therefore they're dragging their feet, and they may not give the incentives. Is that what you're saying, or you were just kind of...
I'm saying that they probably haven't been lobbied well enough to understand exactly what's happening here in Texas.
Well, that's how it worked in the previous session. There was enough lobbyists, and the governor and the lieutenant governor, and Speaker of the House, all were behind it. And the TXMPA was started at that time to tell them the advantages of it, and which is why it got passed.
Yes.
And Friday Night Lights and Prison Break and Dallas were part of the reason that the package did pass.
Okay, well, I'd really like to hear those numbers, if y'all...
I understand what you're saying. So you're saying that by giving the incentives, suggesting that it may cost Texas more than the revenue that would be brought in by the film projects.
No, I'm not saying it. I'm asking if that's what the numbers are, because I don't know. Because, see, you brought this subject up, and so I didn't know, so that's why I was asking. Do you have the numbers? Do you know? Because... I don't want to just be giving stuff away for free if we're not making some kind of return on it. And so that's why I asked the question.
Excellent question. Thank you. What do you think, Gary?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had the numbers for you. Really kind of unprepared tonight. But, yeah, I agree with the caller on that.
There should be an analysis.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I say, I don't have those numbers, but we certainly will get them.
Well, I would say that already with what we've got right now in Texas with the film industry, it's already creating all kinds of jobs, bringing money into the economy. I don't see how it couldn't, by having more projects coming in, how it couldn't bring more revenue. But his point is that by if the state of Texas giving away money, that it might not be as much as...
Right, well, they haven't given away that much, and it did bring in some business, so I think it's a good investment.
I do, too. Welcome. You're on live TV. Hello.
Where's Wendy?
Wendy is not here tonight.
When will she be? Do you know?
I do not know. Do you have a comment or question about the Texas film scene? I guess not. Okay, folks. Are we ready with the do we have any more video of Dan? Is it? Okay. All righty. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and wrap this segment up. Gary, do you have a final comment? Thanks for being on the show today.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff.
And Gary, like I say, I'm kind of predicting Gary will be living in Beverly Hills here for too long. So it's just a matter of time with him. So any final comments?
No, just enjoyed being on the show, and like I say, I think that we should definitely encourage the legislature to increase incentives.
Do you think it would be a good idea if we had those figures and then present them to the legislature?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because when you have the facts and figures there, it's a lot easier to promote and get your message across better.
And I don't know whether I'm not sure exactly how the incentives work, but what is it like a tax credit or something?
I believe they had about $2.5 billion for TV productions like Friday Night Lights and Prison Break. And they had packages of up to $150,000, which went toward the budget of independent films.
Now, these are tax dollars?
I'm not sure exactly.
Okay.
But,
well, it would be good to know, and then if we could get those figures and then present them to the if it turns out to be in the black, that the more projects we get here, the more revenue for Texas, then we could present those statistics, those facts to the figures to the Texas State Legislature.
All right. Yeah.
I don't see how it couldn't be beneficial, because I mean these film projects, particularly these multi-million-dollar projects, they bring millions of dollars into the economy here in Texas.
Absolutely.
So I don't see how just by increasing the incentives, I would think, just guessing, like I say, according to that caller, I don't have the figures, but I'm just guessing. And frankly, I'll be honest with you guys, I think we're going to see an increase in incentives in this legislature.
Yeah, the head of the Texas Film Commission, Bob Hutchins, said that he wanted to get an initial amount. Instead of asking for $50 million the last session, he asked for $10 million each year, and they got actually more than that. They got $22 million instead of 20, because $2 million went to the game industry, because there are a lot of games that are actually produced, video games and so forth, here in Texas. So there's an incentive to that segment of our entertainment industry.
Yeah. Final comments, Gary?
Well, if other states are doing it, it can't be that bad, or why would they be doing it?
That's right.
I mean,
that's right. If other states are, they must be making out.
Yeah.
Well, it's a free market economy, and if other states are doing it, they're taking away our business, and we have to respond, or we'll lose more business.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
So we're all on record, folks, and in fact, we may end up interviewing some state rep or something down the road to get their perspective on this. That might be a project of the Jeff Davis Show. Gary Teague, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Dan Eggleston, thank you very much.
Glad to be here.
Okay, folks, we'll take a quick 30 seconds, and then we'll be back with Sasan and maybe Lorraine. Or whatever. Okay, we'll be right back, folks.
Good evening, and welcome back to the long-running Jeff Davis Show, now in its 19th year of broadcast. My name is Hassan. I'm the co-host. This is Jeff Davis to my right, host of the show for the last 19 years. If you were tuned in just previously, you probably heard the guys discussing the Texas film industry. And,
Yes.
you know, I got to throw my 2 cents in, Jeff, and
Go
you
ahead.
probably already know what I'm going to say, but basically the discussion...
government shouldn't be bribing.
Well, yeah, they were having... These guys over here were having the discussion that, well, the government should subsidize all the Texas film industry. And, of course, my position, if you've been watching the show any period of time, is the government's not good for a goddamn thing, especially the economy.
Well, I want to stop you here because I did say at the beginning of
You
the
did
show
say that, but then
it's
you changed your mind.
Texas. No, I said this is what I said. I said the Texas state legislature, just like legalized casino gambling, they shouldn't have any making decisions on
Right.
it. These things should be based upon the free market.
Right.
Okay, but since it's not that way right now, you know, it's just you're kind of playing the game that we're in.
I'd rather not. I'd rather remove the problem instead of adding to the problem. Because when you think about it, the economy is a infinitely complex system. And as an infinitely complex system, if you try to modify any bit of it, especially through the force of government, all you're going to do is introduce instability. In other words, you will never, ever have the intended effect. When you try to modify the economy in any way through the force of government, you will introduce all sorts of other problems that you never could have predicted. And this applies to every aspect of the economy, including the film industry.
And the gambling.
I got to say, I suspect that these subsidies for the film industry mostly is designed to make politicians look good. They could say, see, I support this legislation, and now Austin is a center of film in the United States. You know, it looks good when you're running for re-election. That seems like what that's all about.
Well, it is. Texas does have the market, though. I mean, there's plenty of talent here. There's agents, there's casting directors. So if the free market was allowed to...
Yeah. How about repeal some taxes? That would, you know, that normally producers would have to pay. Isn't that another way to do it?
So basically, what
instead
you're saying
of
is
subsidizing,
we shouldn't lobby the Texas state legislature.
What I'm saying is, instead of subsidizing them, why not remove the taxes on them? You know, you have the same effect, but now you're not using government. And of course, you're not introducing instability.
That's true.
And I also want to make another point. A lot of people assume that if legislation somehow fills the coffers of government, that somehow if it increases government revenue, that's a good thing. No, I don't think so. The less money that the government has, the better. Because the less money they have, the less power they have to screw you over. So just because something's going to increase tax revenue to the government, that's not an excuse to vote for it.
So you're basically just saying that the Texas state legislature shouldn't have no say in the film industry.
Like I said, they shouldn't have any say in anything.
Right.
I mean, everything they touch turns to shit. Every single thing.
And that also applies to legalized gambling casinos here.
Everything. And drug prohibition and prostitution. Everything they touch, everything that is sold to you as helping the economy or helping public safety, always, without fail, has the opposite effect.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you, Sasan, but like I say, I'm just kind of... I want to basically what I want to do is to just inform the Texas state legislature that whether they should subsidize them or detax them or whatever, their policies are losing film projects here in Texas. Well, one way whether you say they should not tax them at all or subsidize them, their policies are hindering the film industry in Texas.
Yeah, but at least they're stealing less of my money. So
and then that's your point. So that's where we're at.
I mean, how many movies are shot in this general vicinity is not as important to me as, well, how much of my money is being stolen by government, how much of their money is being stolen. To me, that's a much more important issue. That's a crime, in my opinion.
I want to talk, thank you for clarifying. There's a couple of issues that Sasan and I have been on this issue for 2 years, and there was a couple of things in the news here this past week pertaining to the war on drugs horse shit.
Yep.
Number one, the new president, she's a female, CNN ran this story. My daughter's emailed it to me. The new president of Argentina is calling for decriminalization of all drugs.
All drugs,
all
really.
Drugs.
Yeah, that's great.
All drugs.
Because usually they want to incrementalize it. They'll say, we'll decriminalize marijuana, but the so-called hard drugs, they stay criminalized, which, of course, all the organized crime stays. But seriously, all drugs?
That's what she's calling
That's
for. That
excellent.
don't mean it's going to become law, but that's what she's calling for.
Oh, and let me guess, they're going to accuse her of being weak on the drug war.
And number 2, Representative Ron Paul and Congressman Barney Frank this week introduced legislation to decriminalize marijuana.
And from what I hear, it's actually gaining traction in Congress.
Well, so we've been saying it for 2 years, Sasan and I, and I think what we're seeing, I don't know if it's ever going to happen, if it's going to happen in our lifetime, my lifetime, but what we're seeing is, in fact, some of these lawmakers use the term immoral.
No, it is interesting to point out, though, personal use has become decriminalized, or at least they're proposing to decriminalize it. What is not going to be decriminalized is the manufacture and the shipping of it. So the war on drugs will still continue with respect to marijuana. However, if you're caught with some for personal use, you won't go to jail. That's the only difference. So the black market on marijuana will still be there.
Still be there.
So there'll still be gang violence in the streets and overflowing prisons. And people, like I said before, people think that this incremental change is a good thing. They think that you have to coax people and to do the right thing by gradually chipping away the bad. No, I don't really think that's necessary, because what they've done here is basically stated that the government has a right to determine what goes in your body based on how dangerous they think it is to you. That's what they're basically saying. And, of course, their justification is, well, marijuana is not as dangerous as the other drugs, therefore it shouldn't be criminalized. Well, what we've been saying all along, Jeff and I, is that it doesn't matter how dangerous the drugs are. It really doesn't matter. As I said, it doesn't matter if a drug's called liquid death. The stupidest thing you could possibly do is criminalize an addictive substance, because what really happens? It doesn't leave the market, does it? No, of course. It just gets transferred to the black market where you can still readily get it. Only this time you have the gang violence and the overflowing prisons and the corrupt police and the artificial inflation of the drug, which sends drug users into poverty. Then you have addiction-supported theft. You have all these problems that never would have existed if it wasn't for drug prohibition. Prohibition solves absolutely nothing. It doesn't depend on how dangerous a drug is.
Right. Okay, folks, we are taking open topics here. We've got about 9 more minutes to call in. Open topic. Right there is a issue.
477-2288. That's 477-2288. This is a long-running Jeff Davis show.
And I want to mention that hopefully we're going to start getting our archive shows back up. We've got got some things going, and hopefully we'll start getting them back up. Welcome. You're on live TV. Yes, sir.
Hello?
Hi, ma'am.
Hello?
Hi, ma'am.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
You're on. You're on, ma'am.
Oh, are we on the right show?
Pardon me?
Okay, I'm on right now, but that's not me. I don't hear myself.
Well, I hear you fine.
Somebody else got on I'm calling because, okay, I'm on delay. I can't watch the TV.
Well, can you hear us?
Looking at me, just threw
Yeah,
the phone at me.
listen over your
I'm calling because I wanted to know what you guys thought about how drug testing for marijuana and drug testing in general for HR purposes and people getting a job is completely ridiculous in the fact that drugs like cocaine are out of the system in 2 to 3 days. And I think that HR drug testing, for different companies and stuff is ridiculous. I have a bunch of friends who are, out of a job right now, and they can't smoke, and that's like the only thing they do. And I think it sucks because somebody who's a cokehead could easily get a job like 3 days later because it doesn't show up in their system. And I just didn't know if you guys had any information or thoughts on that.
I personally think that's a violation of privacy. What do you think, Sasan?
Yeah, it is, but I also got to mention if an employer wants to require the applicant to get a drug test before they get a job there. Well, that is their right. I think it's stupid, as you say, it's stupid. But I really don't think there should be any law against employers asking for that.
Yeah, but it is stupid. And frankly, I think it's a violation of privacy because there's a lot of other things by these extractions of bodily fluids. There's a lot of other things they could be
testing for.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Well, beyond that, what I think sucks is that people who feel that this is a violation end up not getting to go into an interview or anything because, like, even random drug testing, I have friends who've been fired because they refused to take a drug test. And I just think it's really unfair. I mean, beyond it just being a violation. And then I just don't think that it makes sense anymore. And I have, you know, we live in Austin, and I can name like 3 or 4 of my friends right now that aren't smoking, but they go and get drunk. And, you know, they could drive, but they don't. But they go get drunk, and they can't smoke because they're waiting to get a job, and everyone's drug testing now. I just don't see the purpose in it.
The reason for that, ma'am, is all the propaganda and hysteria that the government has created about the drug with the war on drugs. That now that the private employers are now falling victim to that bullshit.
I agree. I don't know what anyone could ever do about it, but I think it really, really sucks because there are many drugs out there. I mean, there's cigarettes, there's alcohol,
coffee,
there's cocaine, and all these people are addicted to those things, but marijuana is like this very simple, unaddictive, not even harmful, enjoyable drug that makes everybody pretty cool with each other, and yet that's the one drug that HR can find and usually finds more than any other drug in your system.
I would agree with you, ma'am.
You know, there's actually, I want to bring this up. This isn't brought up a lot, but there are actually racial reasons why certain drugs are criminalized and certain ones aren't. Because if you think about it, coffee, nicotine, alcohol, those are drugs that have been traditionally used by Europeans going back centuries.
Right.
Whereas drugs like marijuana, cocaine are not. They were typically, associated, at least back then, with minorities. So there are also racial reasons why certain drugs are criminal.
I happen to disagree with that. And the reason I disagree with that is that I think tobacco is a major industry, and therefore they're never going to get rid of it, even though it's cigarettes are horrible for people. They're addictive. People they cannot stop smoking cigarettes. I have a mother who smokes cigarettes. She still can't stop. I know so many friends of mine that smoke cigarettes and they can't stop smoking cigarettes. That's sick. That's legal. And I think the only reason it is that, for so many years we've had tobacco farms everywhere. And I mean, that's, jobs.
Ma'am, listen to this idea. What about corporate marijuana farms?
What about what farms?
Corporate marijuana farms.
I would think that's fine. I think then maybe we could replace tobacco with marijuana. I mean, seriously. It just makes no sense to me. The drug itself, it makes no sense to me because as far as nicotine and cigarettes compared to marijuana, I mean, you can you take a hit off of a cigarette, you might get a tiny buzz for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and yet you're addicted to a drug. You're psychologically and physically addicted to it. And when it comes to marijuana, you could take a hit off of a joint and be fine. And it's
ma'am, are you aware? Are you aware, ma'am, that tobacco is subsidized by the government?
Yeah, and that's sickening. That's sickening. I mean, the worst thing I ever saw was putting. I understand why the government separates out drugs. When I used to work for a researcher who's a neuroscientist, and we used to have, I forgot what the name of it was, but where you code drugs based on what they do, and like narcotics and things like that. And they actually put marijuana in there as a class something drug, and I was completely confused by this because it really didn't belong there. And so I just don't understand. I feel like, I'm like, are they like, President, has he never smoked marijuana? I mean, he did coke. Oh my God. Has like senators not smoked marijuana? Were they not here during the 60s and the 70s? For God's sakes, like everyone smokes marijuana, but no one seems to care about that. Everyone seems to care about tobacco and alcohol and all these things and making sure we all get money from the tobacco companies, yet we're the ones subsidizing it or this or that. And you got, mothers with babies who are drinking, and everyone is worried about marijuana. It's sick. It's just, I don't know.
Ma'am, do you have access to the internet?
Yes, of course I do.
Google Jeff Davis Show, ma'am.
Okay.
Thanks for calling
Thank
in.
you.
Thank you. Welcome. You're on live TV.
Yeah, if that woman, in this free market economy, if she knows that a business is going to drug test, which is their free right to do, if I'm a business owner, I can choose to drug test or not. And if she knows about it, she doesn't have to apply. And if she works there and she finds out that somebody's drug testing, she can quit.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
I agree with that, sir, but they have the right to do it. But I think that what's happened is this whole drug war culture, which is wrong, has infiltrated the private companies
That's
now.
also right.
And they shouldn't be doing it.
Well, so you think it's a cultural thing?
This whole drug war thing, go ahead. Sir.
Yeah, well, the drugs have such a bad stigma on them, and a lot of them deserve a bad stigma. A lot of these hard drugs are pretty nasty, but a lot of companies have decided to emulate what the government's doing.
Right.
But it's still about the freedom of the business owner to be able to do as he wants according to the law with his own business.
Yeah, you're right.
I have a feeling, though, sir, if there wasn't a war on drugs, the companies wouldn't be doing it.
Maybe not.
All right, thank you.
That's probably.
Thank you.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, welcome. You're on live TV.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, I was a little disappointed at the beginning of your show. You're looking to the government for incentives to make movies.
That's what I said.
I disagree with that, man. I don't think the government should be in the movie business.
He gave a little disclaimer. Did you see his disclaimer?
Yeah, I clarified that, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. I must have been in the bathroom. What did you say to clarify it?
I said that the government, as the same as in gambling casinos, shouldn't have any business. Film industry should be by free market.
And we're about to go off the air in 15
Okay,
seconds.
I'm sorry about that.
No, I agree, though, sir.
We're about to go off the air.
Google Jeff Davis. Final comments aside.
Fuck the war on drugs.
There you go.
Yeah, catch us next week, Sunday night at 10 o'clock on Channel 10, The Jeff Davis Show.